Okay, so it's a weekly training recap. I'm actually doing this a week after I should have. I'm doing it for so essentially with the training that happened 2 weeks ago. I start these off with my Thursday, which is my heavy session, and evaluate the Thursday and then the other days. I know how the following week went already, so I'm not going to talk about my predictions based on this session for the following week. I'm simply going to talk about the sessions themselves. The Thursday included a 285 squat single, which was the heaviest I'd squatted in quite some time. Did not move very well at all. I was fairly disappointed in that. I really think that in that moment, based on that 285, I was losing a lot of confidence in my ability to squat anything reasonably heavy at Euros. But that confidence has shifted, or like that lack of confidence has shifted since, but we'll get into that later on in the same week. I benched a 185 single that moved very well that day. It was like a week one. So 285, 185 shouldn't have been too much of an issue. Of course, the squat was hard. 185 was easy. 300 deadlift was harder than it should have been as well. I think my body was just fatigued and it needed that lack of load, so to say, to sort of drop fatigue and drop stress. Though I'm shocked that with how those weights moved that actually worked, but it seems to have. So the Thursday session was kind of like bad. Wasn't such a confidence building session, so to say. That Friday, though, I did 3x3 with 200 kilos of squats. Moved fine, moved easy. Those lighter sessions, lighter SBD sessions, lighter squat sessions, give me a lot of opportunity to work on my technique, and that's what I really drilled into on that Friday after having such a bad Thursday session. 150, 4x10 on bench. I think one of the sets I did 11 reps. It felt strong, felt good, felt in good positions. Then on deadlift, I did my 3x8 touch and go with 190, which I find is really good for helping me remember how to use my legs in the deadlift, just driving off the floor with my legs, keeping my hips externally rotated and driving hard with my legs, then hips, then back. Easy session always, but I really find that day is helping me remember how to pull correctly. That was that for Friday. Saturday, I did a 3x5 at 245 squat, which felt pretty solid, which gave me, I was like, good. But I was a little bit annoyed because that went pretty well. And I'm like, why couldn't my Thursday have felt similar? 3 sets of 5 at 245 shouldn't be easier than a single at 285. It should be, if anything, roughly the same, if not slightly harder. And I got through those without too much trouble. Then on the bench that day, I did 205 for 2 on board press. It was a shorter board, sort of not shorter, thinner than I had been using in prior weeks, which meant for, 205 was a bit of an overshoot. It was definitely a harder RPE than I intended, but that's okay. The intention of this session is low volume. I just work up in doubles and stop at the top set. So it's just getting heavy exposure in, and that's what I got. Then on the deadlifts, I did 320 for my hesitation triple. I, after the fact, was kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't push for more. I get a lot out of, for my deadlift, I get a lot out of just getting more intense and sort of getting amped up and pushing hard. And I think I should have already started doing that a bit that session. That is something I thought of after the fact and decided based on that to make an alteration to my Sunday training. So Saturday is a wrap. Sunday I did easy 3x5 at 210 on squats, and I went through that as a breeze, no issue. Then I did 176 for 4 on bench. That felt awful. Just technique was not there that day. And then 3x4 at 171. I think one of those sets felt reasonably okay. Bench's technical executions remained inconsistent. But I think more frequently as the weeks progressed, it's feeling more and more strong, which is good. Then on the deadlifts, I did a 3x3 hesitation triple with 300 kilos, 661 pounds. And I decided to do my 4th set of triples that day with 330 kilos, which is 727 pounds. And I did that. The first 2 reps were pretty decent. I did a 3rd rep that I wasn't happy with the lockdown because the straps were slipping out of my hands. And then based on the slipping, I did another one. So it was sort of like a 3.5 reps at 330, which is pretty strong. Gave me a lot of confidence. And you'll hear about that in my next weekly review, or see it in the training vlog for the following Saturday at the team training, that I loaded up even more than 330 to give that a go. That's a wrap for that Sunday training. Then the Monday was a 265 6x3 paused hesitation triples on squats, where I try to go down a little bit slower than normal, holding my positions, sit in the hole a little bit longer than I would to take away some stretch reflex. It looks different from set to set, but that's also partially due to not just me being bad at executing, but also just the heavy weights. Sometimes it's difficult to make them cooperate. I was nervous going into that session because I had done 255 the week prior and moved okay, but not fantastic. I thought 265, I was going to maybe get 4 sets out of the potential for 6, and it was going to be hard. That was what I was expecting. I had my brain sort of primed for the idea that there was going to be a session I was barely going to be able to get through. And honestly, it moved fantastic. It felt strong. It felt good. I was really hyped and really happy that I got through that session so well and so confidently, to where I was like, hey, I'm going to do 275 next week. So another 10 kilo jump. Then that was Monday squats. Then bench singles that day. I did 180, 190, moved great. No real thing to say about those. Me and these singles, there's variability on the day based on how I'm feeling and different things, but consistently getting in these reps at these weights is super strong, when in all reality I'm thinking of benching like 200, 202 and a half in comp. Then a 3x5 on deadlifts at 230, moved easy, no issues. That's a wrap for Monday. Tuesday was 3x6 at 210 kilos, 4x8 on bench of 160, which again was a bit fatiguing. I'm used to 6s on that day at roughly the same weight range, or 160 to 166. So doing an extra 2 reps. I had done a couple weeks of 7s that day. It's a fatiguing day for me, rep wise in those sets, but I got it done. And 3x3 at 250 kilos on deadlifts, went without a hitch. Based on this week, I decided that the following week, on the 2 squat sessions where I do 210, I would only do 200, because I knew I was going to push squats even harder, and just to take away a little bit of extra fatigue from those other days. I think it's important to remember that on so much SPD volume, you do have to self-modulate, and if you ramp up intensity on some days, you might have to pull back intensity on others. And it's not just, SPD 6 days a week is not just about pushing yourself to the limit. It's about making SPD a part of your lifestyle, and so it has to be sustainable. And it's the thing about this, like people are capable of doing relatively hard things every single day of the week, and recovering and being fine. Like, you can go for a walk. If you had to like pick up a heavy thing for your life or for your job, you can do that on a daily basis. And so it's about doing that, but then with SPD, but it has to be viable so that you can go from day to day. And so that's why I did that. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Or I should say I was feeling good a week ago, feeling pretty confident, looking forward to that Thursday session, based on that, especially because the main concern has been the squats lately. Bench execution, but the weights have been moving, the top end has been moving well. I doubled 195, I've been hitting singles 190 to 200, I've been feeling strong, but technical execution's been feeling a bit off. Just like not feeling comfortable laying down on the bench. And, I was, based on that Monday session, the 265, 6x3, I was feeling very confident to go towards something pretty big on the 300. Pretty big on that squat day on the Thursday, aiming for 300 for one, despite having barely squatted 285 the Thursday prior. So yeah, that was that week. Peace. I'm about to film another one for this past week. I also have to edit all those videos, so I'm going to try to get this one up, and then edit all those other videos and post them. It'll be very boring. It's not going to be like real training vlogs, but I'm getting closer and closer to Europeans, so it's getting more and more stressful. And there's my family's visiting from the States, and so there's a lot going on with like my life and whatever, in conjunction with prepping for Euros. So just doing this on the side. I've been filming everything, but it's been hard to like stay consistent with getting everything done day to day. I'm hoping after Euros that I can create a rhythm with it that is sustainable with my lifestyle. Okay, peace.